I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll take a motion to approve the minutes of December 18th.
So moved and as written.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion opposed, motion carries. We'll start with the OPM report.
Okay, so we have financial update, which is this sheet here, which gives a summary of the budget and where we're at with the expenses and reimbursement so far. So column A, again, is our budget, $45,058,033. Column B at the bottom of that, that's what's been spent to date. So we have invoices that have been received for $22.7 million. And we have contracts or have contracted or encumbered $39.1 million. That's the bottom of column C. Of the 22.7 that's been spent, we're anticipating that 16.7 of that will be eligible for reimbursement by the MSBA. The district's reimbursement rate is roughly 63%. So we anticipate grants on that amount of, say, $10.5 million. So of the 22.7 that's been spent, the net to the town would be about $12,200,000. We're on budget. We're on schedule. Things are going very well. Matt can talk a little bit more about the day-to-day activities on site. Matt, you want to talk about?
All right. Well, first of all, something I probably have never shared in the past is a typical day right now is running 80, 85 people on the job. So there's, it's a good turnout of trades. Exterior work is still going on. We have most of our windows are in. And I say windows, think of the little windows, not the big curtain walls. A good portion of those are in as well. But most of the windows are in now. They're still working on curtain walls as they go along. The paneling on the side of the building has started going on the east side off South Road. Exterior-wise, that's really what's going on at the moment on the exterior of the building. Interior, as we've been doing, working from third floor down. Third floor classrooms have been given primer and finished one coat of paint. Ceiling grid is up in most of the classrooms. The single toilets, the gang toilets, the ceramic tile walls and floors are done. Ceiling grid is going up in those. They've started the porcelain tile in the corridor, the one that was one of the changes that we had asked for some additional funding on. They started that today. So that's going to be rolling for a while. Down second floor, paint is going on, ceiling grid, it just comes a repeat. Bathrooms are basically finished down there. Millwork is going in on the third floor. That's another big one. Down the first floor, music rooms have been all sheet-rocked. All the rooms have been framed out at this point. We have our rolling doors for servery and blocking off the stairs have been done. We're into the gym now, sheet-rocking, putting the big gym ductwork in, as well as in the cafeteria. Of course, the mechanical end of it's all ongoing plumbing and ductwork everywhere else. The hood is in the kitchen for the range, and getting some inspections to close up walls next week, I believe, on the first floor. Switchgear arrived today for the electrical room. That's a big one. That'll get us towards getting off temporary power and being able to go on building power.
Incredible.
That's about it.
It's a busy place.
Yeah, so it's kind of going from, if you think
Going
about
on.
it, that rough installation of getting kind of the infrastructure in for the equipment. So now the equipment's actually installed for the most part. You know, as Matt said, the switchgear is where your main power comes in, and then all of your sub-panels are fed from that. So that's kind of a critical thing to get in and get going. You know, when electrical items are going in and equipment is going in, it's dry. It's got to be dry and watertight in there. So that's a good sign that equipment is going in. It's about ready to go in. As Matt mentioned, all the windows are in. Some of the curtain wall is still going in, and so that'll go in over the next month or so. You know, there's still quality control testing, material testing that's going on, window testing. So even through the winter, there's been just a lot of activity. I guess really what we're gonna be transitioning to next will really be heavy on the finishes. So they'll work again from the top down, but once they get everything in the ceiling, then they'll start putting in tiles in the ceiling, and paint will get done, and then they'll come in and put all the flooring in, and then work their way down and throughout the building and all the various finishes.
By the way, that flooring starts February 11th.
So it's coming up. One thing we didn't talk about, and I guess we could get into, is just some of the changes that we have. We met prior with the finance subcommittee, and there were some changes that were approved last week via email to the group, and then today in person. But we're doing very well on our contingency. We really haven't spent a lot. We haven't had really any big issues, knock on wood, since the removal of the old building where we had some unanticipated asbestos. So since then, we've done really pretty well. But just as an example, some of the things that we had here, I won't go through them all in detail, but there was some negotiation for a while. That's the first one, number 37. So we've been working with the contractor to get that price lowered. It was in the mid to upper 20s, and now it's $7,829 for some additional work that was required at all the piers, basically where the steel structure meets the concrete foundations. Some changes to the media center and the circulation desk, moving it over out of the center of the room, make the room more flexible. Just needed to get some conduits and some electrical wiring redone. And so there's $6,275. There was an unforeseen manhole, number 88, that had to get removed. And as I mentioned before, when you find something unknown, usually it's a bigger price tag. So for $1,700, we did pretty good. We are gonna upgrade the fiber optic cable. That's 96. What was a 4-strand cable was what the electrician had carried, and so now we're gonna be upgrading that to a 12-strand, and that was at the request of the district's IT department. So between last week and this week, we have it listed here as about $73,000. The one item, number 95, that's item is approved with a placeholder of a not to exceed $25,000. We're hoping that it comes in a lot less than that, but we wanted to get approval so we can keep going. But we're doing really well on the contingency. We haven't spent a lot, and we've been very fortunate, so we'll knock on wood that continues. And then we didn't do bills, so to just talk about some of the bills that are out there for this month. There's the Fontaine invoice. It's application for payment number 12. It's in the amount of $2,003,687.78. It's been reviewed by Colliers and SMMA, and we recommend approval. Just to go through some of the others, none of them are anywhere near that amount. Allied testing is $216. That's for material testing. I believe that may have been some masonry testing the mortar and doing a field inspection on the installation. Bid Docs Online, $75. That was a cost to host the bidding documents for the FF&E, the furniture and equipment bid. So they took care of that for $75. That's a deal. Strategic Building Solutions, or Colliers, that is our invoice for services, I would say probably December.
Yeah.
Yes, through December, $25,555. And then the last one is SMMA. And again, their services probably through December as well. Yes, through December. And that's in the amount of $49,724.70.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept these bills?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Move to the architect. Jen?
I don't have any real update. I think one of the things that has come in that we'll be proposing, sort of an option or two, is the the plaque. So we own a plaque that will have all the building committee members' names on, that will be installed in the new vestibule. So we're working up an option for that, just how that'll look. Right now, it's designed as sort of on an etched aluminum or stainless steel panel. So we'll provide some options, and we'll bring that next month for you to take a look at.
Did you FF&E go out to bid, or?
It did. I don't know if you have an update on that, Tim, the FF&E bid opening.
Well, the bids came in, and we got a fair number, as the expected number that came in. It's a little different than the building bidding. They're bidding on certain packages within the furniture. Some may bid on tables and chairs, others will bid on shelving, and others will bid on like rugs in the classrooms and that sort of thing. So Stafora is our furniture consultant. They put the bid package together, so we gave them all the bid documents for them to review. And they're assembling recommendations for to develop purchase orders and get those things on orders soon. We're going to want to release that furniture pretty soon to make sure we get in the queue on manufacturing. I think we were looking like we were pretty good to budget. There was no major surprises that we've heard about yet, but they're still kind of going through. And sometimes there's one style of chair that is the proposed or what was specified in the documents, but bidders are allowed to propose an alternative. So they're going through and making sure that the alternative that might be the basis of their bid is equal to what was specified.
Right.
So sometimes that takes a little bit of time to go through that. What we will need to do is work through the district's finance department to get the POs issued.
Yeah.
and out to the various vendors. There's probably, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 purchase orders between technology and furniture that would have to go out.
If I can just jump back to Jen's talking about the plaque. At some point, Jen will be coming to the group here about listed names that will go on the plaque.
Right.
To start thinking about who you're gonna wanna put on it, the actual spelling of their names, whether Joe wants to be known as Joseph, or with a middle, all that stuff. Well,
No, I know.
at
It's
some
important.
point, so just to start thinking about that, because that's a question that will have to be asked.
And I think we'll definitely
Get
want
to
to
the point.
finalize that sooner rather than later, so if we can review that and get that finalized by the next building committee meeting, just to bless it, then they can get that in the works to get that ordered, so it's installed by the time the project's completed.
We have seen projects where things were misspelled on the plaques, and that's never a good
Proof
thing.
that. Yeah, take a good look. Yep.
Like Casper with a C instead of a K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have more
Note to
trouble
self.
with that.
Anything else?
Do you wanna talk
Oh, yeah,
about the?
one of the things. You mentioned earlier, well, at the previous meeting about the time capsule. There will be a new time capsule that will be in the wall as you're coming in the main entrance, right outside the general office, where you speak to the secretary. The capsule itself is 12 inches long, 5.5 inches diameter. And, you know, we need the group or you folks to start thinking about what you're gonna put in it. Obviously, with a cylindrical thing. You know, and I'll leave this with, can I leave this with
Sure.
you? It has some recommendations from the manufacturer,
Ideas.
the kind of stuff to put in, not to put in,
Okay, thank
how
you.
to put it in, you know, just again, to start
Flammable,
thinking
oh, I know.
about what you wanna put in there.
Yeah, they'll make it.
They'll
And
make
it
it.
goes in a cabinet, a lock cabinet, that's
Don't
also.
put any,
attached.
batteries in there.
No.
Be With the building, the old building committee plaque will be in front of it,
Perfect.
and so, yeah, it's good.
Is the grandfather's clock gonna go in the corridor? Is it no decision yet, or?
I think if you ask the Historical Society, I think they have they'd like to keep it there.
Oh,
The Historical.
My vote is no, and I
My
had
vote
made
is
that
no.
clear, but it hadn't come to any kind of vote. It was always my
Yeah.
understanding that it was coming back to the school, and they seem to have changed their mind. They think it belongs there, but I think it belongs in the school.
yeah.
But
Well, if I remember, there is a space that's
Yes.
designed for
Yeah,
that.
it was
Yeah, so it
designed
was
for the clock.
designed, we have a little
Yeah.
niche in the administration, the waiting area,
Mhm.
where that was going to go,
That was
so.
supposed to go there.
So we need to
Yeah.
make sure that it does come back, but I'm personally, I'm not sure how to make that happen. So,
Mhm.
I think
Dr. Cassavant,
the selectmen.
Well,
do you have any suggestions?
Well, I would think, honestly, that this committee would weigh in, but certainly it would be the select board who would make the final decision, given that it would be really two town entities. That would be my thought, given that, you know, you have the historical.
Well, we asked them to hold it, not to
Sure,
keep it.
right.
Right.
Well,
But for
I've
some
said from the
reason-
beginning that I think that if that was the original plan and design was, you know, was
Right,
put
the
in
school
place
was
to.
designed around that.
to put something there, that it should go there, and and I think some of the conversation was, well, it could get wrecked. Well, I saw where it was, it was fine there, it'll be
That's right.
it'll be in much
Fine in
better
a notch.
shape where
In a
where the niche
area.
is, so.
Definitely.
Okay,
All right.
so, Vice Chair Mason, could we have some kind of motion that I could take back to the select board, please?
Sure, I'll entertain a motion on what to do with the grandfather clock.
Second?
No, I need a motion.
Oh, sorry, you need a motion, sorry, I think,
Entertain a motion, so.
so
Someone
moved.
make a motion and I can.
I can't make that motion. I don't, does the committee
I
have?
would like to make a motion.
What do you
that-
want to do?
Go on record, you mean.
I want it in the school,
Okay, is
because
that,
that's where it came from, and it always was there.
I'll take
And all
that,
these parents that have got kids coming, they'll remember that, you know.
Okay,
I'll take that
It's
as a
like-
motion.
I'll take that as a motion.
Yeah, okay.
Is there a second?
Okay, I'll second that. Emily will
Any-
second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I've heard both sides of the story here.
Yeah.
And I've heard that, I understand that the clock came out of TC, but I also understand that the clock was originally in the building where Camelot used to be, when that was a general store, whatever, was a long time ago. When that building was torn down, it was put in elementary school in East Templeton, because it was the only building it would fit in. Because it was so tall.
Sure.
And when it moved up to the TC building, again, because it was a large clock and it fit there. So I've just heard people in town, both sides of the story, saying that they think they like it in the historical society, because more people are actually gonna see it.
I was gonna ask
I've
Yeah,
heard
but
that
nobody
too.
goes to the historic.
Well, little kids going by the clock aren't really gonna pay attention to it
Yeah,
either.
but the parents will.
Okay, I'm just saying that I've heard both sides of the story, okay? I'm
And
just
what do
saying
we
I've
do
heard-
with what we just built around?
Yeah.
We just built
Well, it's an
an
alcove.
entire vestibule
It's just,
around.
yeah, it's just a little.
It's a little, it's a little.
You could put something.
Put a
You could
water
put
bubbler, I
a
mean.
water- a grandfather clock.
Have-
Yeah, I'm just saying I've
So we-
heard
in
both
our-
sides of the
well,
story.
we already sent out for the FF&E, so how do we
I could say,
buy another clock?
buy a clock, I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah, no,
Doesn't
I
have
think
to
your
be a
motion is, do you want to, as a group, do you
Just
want to
a rec-
recommend this to the?
Do you wanna recommend this to the select board?
Yeah, that's what we
It's-
do.
Okay, if you wanna recommend it to the select board, I
That's
go along with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye,
Opposed? Motion carries.
okay, so,
Just one thing to circle back to the time capsule.
I have the other time capsule that goes in the playground.
In the playground.
You have it?
I have
Oh,
it. It was
because,
given to me by Mr. Mayo before he left employment with the town. And it only has one thing in it currently, and I need to collect other things, but now I don't know what to do. Now that you're putting a time capsule in the wall, people
No,
are
no,
gonna
no,
be-
different,
No,
different.
no,
It's a different.
Okay,
That's still
so
gonna
I
go
can-
in the by the playground.
Okay, because that was, okay.
So I don't know what's in it.
Yeah.
It's a need-to-know basis only.
Yeah.
I don't even
Yeah,
know.
that's.
But,
No,
But what
I
we're-
don't remember.
but what's gonna go inside is what we need to do is to have, designate somebody.
Not me.
Like the principal.
Like the
Like a
principal.
I got
it, Tim.
That's be a fantastic idea.
To, I don't know, whether it's, take input from students, staff, whatever. It's,
Yeah.
granted, it's a small space, you can put stuff on a flash drive.
I was gonna say, the flash drive idea, I think, is one of the better ideas.
And I've floated that
Yeah.
idea already, and people have made there were lots of pictures that were taken at TC of final things, and they're doing the same thing at BES right now as well, for that purpose.
Yeah, a program of the groundbreaking.
Right, which we have, right, that's the.
Oh,
the
that
other
kind of
thing.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't fit a lot,
Right.
but you can fit some things to put in there, because we are going to need to have that available to us in the near
Before you
future.
wall it in.
Yeah.
So maybe by the March meeting, would that be fair, or is that too not, is that?
Too quick.
Although, did we decide, were we walling it in, or
Just
was
make-
it gonna be an
It's
open
in a cabinet,
cabinet
so
that's gonna be
it's-
behind something?
So it's a matter of, it can be
Yeah.
put in at any time.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
We're
Oh,
putting the cabinet in, it's
Gotcha.
gonna be
All right.
there.
So that's an opportunity to have some sort of a
Ceremony.
ceremony. It's kind of not a bad idea to,
And that could even be done in the fall when the kids are in class and stuff. That'd probably be the best time to do it, so they can be involved and everything, so.
And they do mention in there, when you're putting things in, like a flash drive, to also put in with it the device that runs it.
That may not be there.
Figure that one out.
50 years
Yeah.
when-
Makes
it's like
sense.
the old floppy.
They may not be able to run.
Yeah, we'll put a
doing
flop,
it.
8, makes sense.
They go to
You
the
need floppy
historical
disk, then
society,
they
get
just-
a laptop
It can
off
bend,
the
you can
shelf,
slide it.
Yeah.
and use
We're gonna
that.
do with
Good
this
point.
8-track, so
I still have 8 tracks, what are you talking about?
you have to play it.
May I ask a
that's
quick question?
I bet he has to
apologize.
play or two.
Because I know there was emails and I've lost track of them. The tiles with the handprints. Okay. So they're done and ready to go.
Yep.
And we're more than happy to hold on to them if there's not a safe place at this point to put them, but,
Yeah, I think for you to hold on to them, it's the safest place
Okay.
at this point, and I think they'd probably be getting to the point of tiling in that area and wanting to kind of start to have the discussion of how this is gonna lay out on the wall, probably March,
okay.
beginning of March. If it's sooner, we'll let you know. We'll definitely give you notice, because I think prior to that, we'll wanna have a meeting on site, with you. If there's any way you can take picture, I don't know if they're all piled up.
They're all
or if you
piled
took-
up, but they're
okay.
all sorted by color as well, because we figured they go up on the wall.
It's just, so it's all handprints?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so that's good to know, so we can think about, how we might do we wanna do it, I don't know if you wanna do it in color coded, or if you want it more random, we can.
So that's
Talk
when,
about it.
once we figure out when we're ready to do this, I'll definitely include the art teacher, because she and
Okay.
a couple of my other teachers had the vision years ago, and they're kind of pulling it together, so I'd love to include them in it.
Yeah, absolutely, and, we had them involved in the design of it in the beginning, so I
Right.
think to see it all come together would be
That'd be
great.
fantastic.
That was our intent, so, so we'll keep you informed, we'll let you know, in advance, so that we can design it together, so.
Thank you.
Great.
Any other business?
I guess for the furniture, we've been working with Emily and the staff, and do we have, and I know that we haven't come to you with the bids and what the breakdown, but do we need approval before ordering? Being, if we're within the budget, it's already been selected,
Unless you wanna just go over it with the finance committee, maybe, it's up to you.
we certainly can do that.
Yeah,
Um,
that might be a good idea, just so we look at it before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just thinking if it needs to get done before our next schedule.
Yeah, we can meet before that, we just.
Okay. Certainly, we can
Few days
electronically send out
Yeah, I was
a
gonna-
kind of
I
a
was just gonna say we
results
can-
or a,
If you just send it out electronically, that'd probably be the best.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
fine with me.
great.
Anything else? Entertain a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you.